Is Glenn Powell right that Chris Pratt redefined the modern leading man by showing they don't have to be brooding, but rather lighthearted and goofy? So there was an interview in GQ magazine with Glenn Powell this last week, and a bunch of quotes came out from it about how Glenn Powell said that Chris Pratt redefined the leading man as this more lighthearted, buoyant type of character rather than a brooding character. And so there's, all sorts of articles about it, all sorts of takes on Twitter, almost all of them completely missing the actual tone of the statement and the point being made. The question itself is Glenn Powell right that Chris Pratt redefined the leading man? That was not what Glenn Powell was trying to say, though. That's what it was spun on social media. Glenn Powell was talking about his own career as a young guy in his 20s trying to find his place in Hollywood. He was saying, like, I'm not Christian Bale. I can't be that brooding heavy actor. I don't have what Robert Pattinson has. I can't do that. And then I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and you had the funny guy from a sitcom become a leading action man. That was more lighthearted and buoyant. And the point of the quote was, that to me signaled there's a place for me. I saw my place in the industry because of Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the tone of it. That was the point of it. In which case, when you phrase it that way, all of a sudden it's kind of like oh yeah, that makes sense. If you frame it as Glenn Powell claims that Chris Pratt invented the comedic action hero, that's of course ridiculous. It didn't change the whole trajectory of Hollywood, but it was an actor, a person in Hollywood trying to find his way, trying to find his place. And he went, I could see my path when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, when I saw Chris Pratt. And I think that makes total sense. It's entirely people. This is what social media does. And it's so frustrating. You take a clip, you take a sentence, remove it from the context, remove it from the actual perspective of the person, the actual point trying to be made, and you put it in isolation, and it looks really silly, or it looks like way misreading the room. If you take what Glenn Powell said in context, it totally makes sense because it's 100% about himself, not about the industry in general. And when you look at what the space that Glenn Powell has carved out for himself, you go, yeah, it makes sense. He is kind of in that same sort of vein as Chris Pratt. He's not copying Chris Pratt, but he's following a little bit in that sort of trajectory. That's the point he was making if you read the actual quote that he said. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.